Just like that, we are back. Good morning, Mr. Shea. How'd you
No,
make out in the storm? Did you have any damage?
no damage. Just had to move some pool patio furniture that got
Yeah,
crumpled.
we're
One in the
underwater.
pool, and
One
that's
of the
about it.
things about living near the water is that when rain introduces new water, it's got nowhere to go. So it has been interesting trekking around town. But here we are. It's a Friday. The Friday before Thanksgiving is always a fun day. This Huddler in the hot seat tradition continues to bring us great people, and I love this segment. It's just a chance to share what would be a virtual coffee with somebody and let everybody in on it. Today's guest is just absolutely outstanding. I can't wait to bring her on. But I'm going to be traveling to New York, and I looked at the weather a week ago. It was in the 50s, going to be in the 50s on Thanksgiving, and I was like, "Oh, that's great, man. Whatever. Maybe I don't need a coat." This morning, 41. So it should be
Should be
crazy
bundled up watching the Jets.
bundled up. Anyway, lots of good stuff ahead. Good weekend ahead. Dolphins are home. Should be lots of good football. What do you say we jump right in, get the music going? She has great wake up music, one of my favorite songs. And then we will bring on the one and only Jen Homer.
Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up! Come on! Come on! Wake up, everybody! Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed. No more about to thinking, time of thinking ahead. Come on. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along.
What a fabulous walk-up song, one of my favorites. It's impossible not to be happy when I hear that song, but I'm even happier when I see that beautiful smile. Welcome to the Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Huddler in the hot seat, Jen Homer.
Good morning. And it's Friday, but I got to tell you, I was chuckling listening to you and Shay talk about cold temperatures, you Floridians. I mean, I'm in Cincinnati. We were so happy to have 70 this week. And then I'm like, but hey, it's going to be 42 and sunny next week. I'll take it.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's when Mark coached in Cincinnati, I remember like in May going to a baseball game and searching out the hot chocolate vendor. It was like in May. Just
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
crazy. So there is Miss Helen Field saying Jen is always smiling, and that is an absolute accurate statement. I have never seen you not smile. I'll share a little anecdote here. I met Jen. Jen is the CEO of her own firm called Strategic Benefits. She's been in the employee benefits space forever. She will tell you more about that. But I was fortunate to speak at an event in May, right out of the box. It was the first one after the pandemic. A beautiful venue up in outside of Atlanta called Barnsley Gardens. And
Yeah.
anyway, I get up on stage, and fortunate for me, this young lady is sitting pretty much in the front row and like shaking her head and bopping to everything I'm saying. She's so in groove with what I was saying. She made my presentation fantastic. So I will forever be indebted to you. We've developed a great friendship. Tell people, who is Jen Homer?
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. It was a really good presentation, though. So you can pat yourself on the back. It really changed the trajectory of how I viewed marketing of our firm. I'm in employee benefits, which historically has been kind of old school insurance, kind of boring.
Boring.
No one ever leaves. And our branding and our space in the market has changed since I met you and worked. And I think because, my passion, sure, it's employee benefits and businesses need it, but I have to get up in the morning and feel like I'm helping someone. And when you think about what we're doing, and what I tell my team all the time is, we do this every day. But when someone has issues in their family, they have to use their insurance, they got huge bills at home, maybe they're going through a crisis, a cancer diagnosis, everything we touch with our employers and their employees is so, so important. And so that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I have to be energized and feel like I'm making a difference. And I really do with
I've
leading
never
my
heard
team.
you say it like that, but that reminds me. And one of the things I think is so important is that, and I wrote about this in the book, that, when someone is, doing a play, they could do it every night for years, but to the audience, it's the first night. And so if you treat your audience that way, and understand that whenever it's about them, you treat them. So I just think your warm personality wins, but give us a sense of how you got started in this space. It was and probably still is dominated by old white guys. So
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. So my dad was a Northwestern Mutual financial rep, and I joined him after a couple years in banking out of college. And he used to drag me to all these insurance events, and I would look around the room like, oh, for God's sakes, what have I gotten myself into? But he had a small part of his practice that was group employee benefits that I really enjoyed, because I just thrive on being around people, solving problems, and I'm not a big numbers person. And a lot of what he was doing on the life insurance side was kind of numbersy to me. And it just really took off from there. My career's evolved to where I am, as you mentioned earlier, partner at Strategic Benefits. We kind of rolled out a Northwestern Mutual in 2018, still a great relationship. And it's changing. This is the first time I have 5 recent college graduates, male and female. We're attracting people into an insurance industry, like you said, historically was like, who the heck is going to want to go work in insurance? My kids are like, what do you do, Mom? When they were trying to think of careers, they didn't even talk to me about mine. So I'm having so much fun grooming these young people out of school, because I'm like, it's not about insurance. It's about, you are developing relationships, you're helping people. There's a sales aspect, there's a numbers aspect. So you can do anything from here if you can figure this out.
So I'm glad you brought up about your kids, because you have many roles, you wear many hats. One of them is Jen Homer, the business person.
Right.
Talk to us about Jen Homer, the wife, the mother, because you have 2 dynamic kids. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm very, very blessed. I've got a big heart of gratitude no matter what's going on. But I've been married to John for 33 years. We actually met at the end of high school, which is crazy. My son Andrew is now Floridian. He's living in Tampa, working for Stryker, and my daughter Caroline is in Birmingham. So I'm an empty nester, and I decided, if I'm going to empty nest, I need to be able to be out doing things. So we recently moved to a community where we can walk everywhere. But I'll tell you what, cannot wait for them to be home next week for Thanksgiving. It's
isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, and it's such a great feeling as a mom. I call it adulting successfully. It comes with trials and tribulations, but overall, I'm like, you know what? I think they're going to be okay. And I find just great solace in that. So
that's one of the things that attracted us to each other, was I am a big family over everything kind of person, always have been in my career. You took it to a degree that most parents don't do it. Your son played football for Miami?
Yes, Miami of Ohio. 6 years.
6 years. So you dealt with injuries, you dealt with expectations, you dealt with travel. Talk to us about that, because the friends you made, you still travel with.
Yeah, it I would never give it up. It was an amazing 6 years because of injury and COVID. He was allowed that. But it was so much bigger than that. It was an experience of, having to help your child during amazing times. And, quite frankly, Andrew tore his ACL twice, which is pretty devastating. He came back from it, which is just a crazy story he'll be able to tell forever. But we did make lifelong friends that we still travel with. In fact, that's that hotel I go to a couple times a year around the bend from you.
One block from where I live.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. And I think, my daughter played high school sports and she had to learn resiliency from that as well. But it is kind of funny, this has been my second fall of no football. It's like the weirdest feeling to be like, wait a minute, I'm around September, October, November. What do you want to do? We can go do whatever. So I am enjoying that as well.
I experience that real time because the boys get itchy on the weekends when they're watching football but not coaching football. So it's, that never goes away. I want to talk one more degree about your business and then we're going to switch gears. But what would you say is the number one habit or characteristic that has made you successful over the course of your career?
I think the characteristic that I have is you've got to have a passion for what you're doing. The only way you can get out of bed in the morning and go to work and enjoy it and not see it as a job is you have to find passion in what you're doing. And that can come from all different avenues for my team. It could be that they're helping people. It can be that they want to be with 22 amazing humans. You have to have a purpose. And I've always had that. It's a gift and it's a blessing that I have. I love what I do. I've always loved what I've done. And I don't really even want to stop. I keep thinking, okay, when that day comes, I could somehow keep doing something to help people. But I do get that from my dad. He is just a connector, a helper. He's probably has the biggest heart of anyone I know. His whole career was around helping other people. So,
it is a mainstay. I love hearing that. I'll ask you one more question and then we'll shift gears. So when we met, LinkedIn was not a part of your daily routine. We sort of shifted gears. Give us in a short few sentences about your LinkedIn journey.
Yeah. You remember when I met you, and boy, did I push back on you because we were doing the traditional marketing of our firm, just under the strategic brand. But as you guys know, is if you've got multiple people connected to your team, that exact post is going to go on that person's feed like 20 times. I mean, we actually had someone reach out to us once going, hey, you guys need to unsubscribe me. Right. And people know me as an outgoing person. And I don't struggle talking to people, but I have a little bit of an introverted side with social media. So it's very much out of my comfort zone to start branding Jen Homer as the leader of Strategic. But I'm having a lot of fun with it because I've met a lot of fun people doing podcasts. I've even been stopped. I was literally stopped at our meat market last week. She worked for an employer group. She said, but hey, what I want you to know though is I love what you're posting on LinkedIn. I really find value in it. And then I'm like, okay, I think this is working. So you have to be able to get out of your comfort zone no matter what you're doing in your role. And that was one of the biggest challenges that I had to overcome probably in the last 18 months.
I don't want this to sound anything other than genuine. I'm so proud of you because where you came from was like so behind. Like, there's no way I'm doing this. I'm just telling you I'm not doing it to what you're doing. Great. Okay. So now the main reason why I wanted you on is every single leader that I know, and I said this on stage at my event, the Junior Achievement event Monday night, every great leader I know has found a way to send the elevator back down. They give back. They understand their responsibility. So philanthropy is a big thing. I know it has always been a big part of you, your family, your business. But then sometimes tragedy happens and it strikes you personally. So if you can open your heart and share with us the unfortunate circumstances and what it's led to and how you're doing something about it.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. And I really appreciate the chance to talk about it, because you're right. We have a lot of nonprofit clients, but tragedy hit my family. We lost my nephew 2 years ago to fentanyl poisoning. My nephew's name was Jack. We started a family foundation, and our website's doitforjack.org, which really tells Jack's story. And boy, when things hit, you've got some choices, but I was able, along with my sister and husband and family, we just right away said, we've got to make a difference. They're a beautiful family. Stephanie and Tom's kids.
Sorry to interrupt, but let's give people some background on the type of kid this guy was. Top of his class at Clemson, correct?
He was at South Carolina. Here's the deal.
Right.
Yeah, everyone talks about the epidemic in the U.S. around addiction, right? Opioids, fentanyl. This was not that. This was a 20-something child who had graduated from South Carolina, top of his class, international business school. My sister and her husband, Tom, had just dropped Jack off in Baltimore for an amazing job in venture capital on Labor Day weekend. They did not know that was the last time they were going to see him. He was dead a couple weeks later. And it was he and another South Carolina grad who chose to make a poor decision on one night. And it was a drug laced with fentanyl. And there's two kids who had everything in front of them, like just amazing children, and they were gone. And so my sister and her husband, along with the rest of the family, said, you know what? We have got to tell Jack's story, right? He has got to be remembered for the amazing human he was and everything he had accomplished. I mean, he traveled worldwide with South Carolina's business school. And in fact, when you look at our website, we've got Do It For Jack shirts and gear. It has been shown in 34 countries, I think. I have to look. I mean, the footprint is becoming incredible.
Do you mind if we show a brief video? We have a brief little video that we want to share.
I would love that. I would love it.
Could you run that?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about fentanyl or the use of recreational drugs laced with fentanyl. I'd heard of fentanyl, but had no idea that that was something I needed to warn my kids about. Jack was that type of kid that always landed on his feet. So I was like, oh, if anyone could beat this, Jack Quell will beat this. And we had no idea what we were walking into.
Oof. So, dealing with that, when you understand the scale of how many people are dying from this, you always see it on the news and it's like, oh, they must come from a bad family. Oh, there's tragic problems there. Then it hits home. So what is the foundation actually doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And before I go there, the one thing I want to say, you just said that you're watching it, but you're kind of numb to it. We had an event on Tuesday, and another parent who lost his daughter, gorgeous, had everything going for her. And everyone always says to them, the parents who lost their kids, I just can't imagine, right? I just can't imagine. He said, you have to imagine it, because we've got a problem going on. So our foundation's main purpose is getting the word out and educating in the schools. Steph and Tom have talked to 12 local schools. We've touched 800 students, and we're just starting. So the money we're raising, we're trying to put together a curriculum so that anyone can start telling the story, and they can do it for their Jack, their Tom, their Susan across the country, because honestly, Steph and Tom aren't going to be able to do it forever. And we just see a footprint taking us east to west coast, a longer video. So ours is all around educating. And I hate to say this, but it is very scary. Parents have got to be talking to their kids in like 7th grade.
Yeah.
It's not just the Coke and drugs, it's Adderall, Xanax. They can dial it up on DoorDash, Instagram, Snapchat, and have it delivered to them. So
Yeah, it's unfathomable. I mean, really, the access that these young kids, get. So, is this a Cincinnati charity, or is this something that has legs outside of the area?
yeah, I mean, we're here in Cincinnati. The legs have become unbelievable. So as far as educating in the schools right now, it's Cincinnati based, but the footprint of people that have reached out to my sister and Tom, unbelievable. I mean, it's crazy how much impact. And then international, because we've got our big thing is the Do It for Jack gear. And my sister, she'll say on that video, she just wants Jack's memory alive. And she's so excited when someone sends her a picture and a Do It for Jack somewhere. So it has been massive. And they have been asked to talk at the Ohio level of Homeland Security, but that's even becoming bigger outside of just the Ohio government.
Well, I give you a lot of credit because there's a lot of people who face misfortune and then never really deal with it, never really do anything about it. So it's wonderful to see. But when you understand the scope of how this thing has affected, families one day, and to everybody's point, I can't imagine when I think about, a parent losing a child for any reason,
Right.
it's devastating. Then when it's so senseless, it's so, kids are prone to try things.
Mhm.
It's this kid that was brilliant, and we as a culture lost a really special human being. So I so appreciate you coming on and sharing. I know that it's got to be reliving it all the time, but you can count on us for any support, any way. Everybody listening today, if you can have Shay ask for the video, just share the video or share the website,
Yes.
Send it to your friends and say, hey, just want you to know. It's not even, even if you choose not to, donate financially, just be a carrier, be someone who takes it to the community and says, hey, by the way, I hope this never happens to you and we can prevent it. So there's an absolute no to these drugs. You cannot try it because the first time you do it could be, this tragic.
Exactly.
On a more positive note, I'm thrilled that you came into my life. Helen and I adore you and John, and
Thank you.
thrilled that we get to spend time with you, fairly often. I'm assuming you will be here in January in West Palm.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we are actually on the docket to speak with Mr. Smith on stage. So I think he's having the three of us do a family type thing. So
Oh, great.
we will definitely see you. We'll spend
Okay.
you up at the hotel. And thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
Have
you
a
very much.
wonderful Thanksgiving. Are your kids coming in? Is that what I
Yes,
heard?
I cannot wait. And we're going to have all of them in town, and Stephanie and Tom are having Thanksgiving. So, I will say it's amazing how gratitude can coexist with hurt and loss, right? And I think that's a testament to them and our family. And we just are very faithful people. And I'm grateful for next week, even
And
all
our
the-
prayers, our thoughts, and please have them reach out, whatever we could do for them. We most definitely will. Have a great holiday, and I'll see
You
you
too.
soon.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday, bright and early for the Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Now it's Friday. Let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business.